people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Former WBO Super Bantamweight champion of Lefebvre, Lefebvre, took to her social media and said, "Konnichiwa, Team Majestic. It's official. I will box on October 19th at the Douai Racecourse for the oldest World Boxing Federation title, which is the WBA. My opponent will come from Argentina. I will announce their name very soon." Which caught me a little bit off guard. Because if what Siegelin is talking about is the WBA title at Super Bantamweight, that title, the newly vacated WBA title that was vacated as a result of Erica Cruz, then champion, testing positive for banned substances, that title is set to be fought for at the end of next month, when Romero of Argentina takes on Mexico's own Paulette Valenzuela. Set to go down in Romero's native Argentina in Buenos Aires for the newly vacated WBA title. This is going down in August. Siegelin said she's coming back in October. She said her opponent hails from Argentina. Is it possible she's talking about Romero? If she is, how does she know for sure? How does she know that Nazarena is going to win that fight? How does she know that Nazarena is going to become WBA champion if what she's talking about is a Romero fight? And it's funny because I looked over the WBA's rankings at 122 pounds, and Siegelin Lefebvre's name doesn't appear anywhere on there. Maybe it will when they update those rankings. Siegelin Lefebvre seems pretty sure of who she is going to be fighting and when, but how do we know for sure she's talking about Nazarena? And what says that Matchroom, if Nazarena becomes WBA champion, if she wins, what says that Matchroom doesn't make Nazarena an offer to unify titles with Ellie Scottney? Catford. A lot can happen between now and October, August and October, to where if Nazarena does become WBA champion, and I think she's going to, Matchroom might step in and offer her more money to fight Ellie than she would be making to fight Siegelin. Think about it. Just the other day, Ellie Scottney was calling for a fight with Yemi Mercado, the only other reigning champion at this weight. She wants to unify. She's in pursuit of Undisputed. And August is right around the corner, and so is this fight. On that kind of schedule, Ellie might get what she wants towards the end of the year. So where Siegelin Lefebvre is saying that she's set to fight for some version of a WBA title against an Argentinian. A lot can happen between now and then as it pertains to Romero and Paulette Valenzuela. Well, I do have Nazarena beating her. I do have Nazarena potentially stopping Paulette that's never been stopped. And even if she doesn't, look at where the fight is going down. It's going down in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Nazarena's going to have home field advantage. Even if she doesn't stop her, she can still win a points decision. She can win that at home. Seems to me that Romero is set to become this division's next WBA champion. And if you've been following this channel, you'll know I always thought Nazarena was going to be a champion. Granted that I didn't think it was going to be like this. I thought she was going to beat Erica Cruz. Instead, she got a draw. So in the end, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Erica still lost her title. It's conceivable Nazarena's going to win it. It's conceivable Nazarena's going to become WBA champion. So in the end, it's more or less what I thought. Title's going to go to Nazarena. So look of it, it's what happens after that where things start to get interesting. Does she fight Siegelin Lefebvre in France? Or do they ship her out to the UK to fight Ellie Scottney? Catford. We'll find out after August. We'll find out once Nazarena settles up with Paulette. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Subjects I'll bring up.
Has the door completely closed on the top-ranked chapter with Shakur Stevenson?
No, he's finished his contract with us. He lived up completely to the contract. We lived up to the contract. Now he's testing the market in free agency, but that doesn't mean that down the line he's not going to come back and fight for top rank. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there is absolutely no animosity towards him. He's a great fighter, and he lived up to his contract. You see, he's not like one of these kids that when he hasn't fulfilled his contract, they look for ways to break the contract so they can go and look at greener pastures. He didn't do that. He performed 100% under the contract, and he's now in free agency, and free agency means just that. He's entitled to look for the best possible deal for himself.
Bob, with that said, though, he has said some critical things about your company, so the feelings may not be mutual. Has there anything that he has stated that you find particularly objectionable?
Well, he said certain things that were sort of ludicrous, that don't make any sense, that we paid people to leave early and that. But again, he's emotional, and it's I think jarring, and even though he won't admit it to himself, the fact that he's now a free agent as far as Top Rank is concerned, and so he's like out there looking for the best possible arrangement for himself. So you gotta, cut him some swat, because he's basically a nice kid.
There's Bob Arum again. He was talking to veteran boxing scribe Stephen Kimothy, and he didn't say anything bad about Shakur, anything malicious. He didn't trash him, didn't down him. For the active effort you see online to paint Bob Arum at Top Rank as being a bad guy in this story, I don't know what the hell people are talking about. It's easier to just repeat yourself without thinking about what you're saying, just because somebody said it before you, just because a fighter says it, than to use some critical thinking skills to think about it. What is it that Top Rank didn't do that you think they should have done? It's like you're blaming Top Rank in the absence of actual culpability so that you don't have to blame somebody else, so that you don't have to hold somebody else accountable. Accountable for what? The reactions that Shakur Stevenson's fights have been getting the last 2 fights? How people feel watching them? Bored. And maybe 1 or 2 fights that didn't happen for Shakur Stevenson? Something like that. I got the chance to ask Shakur Stevenson some questions in the Spaces yesterday, hosted by Hassan. I asked him, why'd he leave? What was it specifically about Top Rank that was bothering you? Was it a money thing, or was it like an atmosphere thing? You just ain't like the atmosphere over there.
Nah, I think it been good throughout my career. I think that like I said, once I turned down that contract, things just got different. Things done changed, and from there on, it was just bad vibes, I guess.
So it was like an atmosphere thing. You ain't like how they was treating you after you decided you didn't want that extension.
Yeah, I didn't like how. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
According to Shakur, things didn't really change, or he didn't really sense a shift until after he rejected an offer to extend his deal with Top Rank. So for the most part, they did their job. People are still critical of Top Rank. Coolio the Cuck, friend of the channel. He said Bob's not wrong, but at the same time, I think it's fair to say he hasn't exactly done a great job at promoting Shakur. What's he talking about? He's talking about Vasyl Lomachenko fighting Gervonta Davis in the fall, and how Shakur Stevenson wanted to fight Vasyl Lomachenko, but that didn't happen. Well, Bob can't make him do it. If you want to hold Vasyl Lomachenko accountable for that, either him or his team, Aegis Climbers, then you can. If you want to. I don't. Why not? Because when was this supposed to happen? If I'm supposed to now say that Vasyl Lomachenko was ducking Shakur Stevenson, he ducked him to fight who? Who? Devin Haney? That's a duck. When he fights Devin Haney for the undisputed championship at lightweight, instead of fighting Shakur, what, that's supposed to be a duck? Or is it supposed to be a duck that he fought George Kambosos right after that? Well, maybe the Devin Haney fight isn't a duck, but the George Kambosos fight might be. Shakur Stevenson is widely received as a better fighter, a more skilled fighter than George Kambosos. That's a duck, wouldn't you say? No. Why not? Well, after the Devin Haney fight and that controversial outcome, what was the expectation? That he's going to go from a controversial loss to Devin Haney straight into a fight with Shakur? It's supposed to be a duck that he did that. How many of you are expecting Devin Haney to go in there and fight a Subriel Matias right now? that he's coming off a controversial loss. How many of you are expecting him to go in there and fight a Teofimo Lopez?
How many?
Fighter in that situation. How many of you are expecting him to go in there and fight Alberto Puello, Teofimo Lopez, and maybe Subriel Matias? That you're saying it's a categorical duck if Vasily Lomachenko didn't go in there and fight Shakur Stevenson off the controversial loss to Devin Haney.
That's not a duck.
And look at who he's about to fight. Look at who he's about to fight. Gervonta Davis. Bigger puncher than Shakur, wouldn't you say? That's who he's about to fight. You're telling me that because he's fighting Gervonta and he's not fighting Shakur, that's a duck. I saw veteran boxing scribe Gendria Leboeuf react to the news by saying how messy. Shakur wanted that fight. That's how they did Bud when he wanted to fight Pacquiao.
How who did, Bud?
Who? Top Rank? Bob Arum? According to Freddie Roach, at that time, Bob Arum was the one pushing for the fight, and it was Freddie who was concerned.
It was Team Pacquiao that didn't want it.
That's literally what Freddie Roach said, that Bob Arum is pushing for the fight and that he's concerned. I remember one article that stated Freddie didn't want that fight for Manny.
We're gonna put that on Bob Arum.
Or put this on him, that Vasily Lomachenko never fought Shakur Stevenson, but he did fight Devin Haney, and he's about to fight Gervonta Davis.
What's the expectation? He suffers a controversial loss to Devin Haney, so he can go right back in there with Shakur Stevenson.
That's what you were expecting. Seems to me like you're asking a lot. Because what are the odds that Devin Haney, for example, he's coming off a controversial loss, a no contest now. What are the odds that he's going to face a killer straight away? What are the odds?
You don't expect him to, right? You don't expect that. But you expect that of Vasily Lomachenko.
Oh.
My thoughts.
Top Rank did right by Shakur Stevenson, but everybody can't get what they want when they want it. Exactly what they want when they want it. And I noticed that a lot of fighters in this situation throw their toys out of the pram because they're petulant, they're headstrong. Shakur's not dissimilar from Teofimo Lopez. He likes to blame Top Rank for all his problems.
It's their fault you lost to George Kambosos?
When Shakur Stevenson gets booed for 36 minutes in an Edwin De Los Santos fight, that's Top Rank's fault? Or when he puts on a flat performance with Artem Hadatunian and the people aren't happy, the people start leaving early and people are complaining online, that's Top Rank's fault?
Or is it their fault that Vasily Lomachenko didn't fight him straight away after the Devin Haney fight? It's Top Rank's fault that they preferred to fight George on the bounce instead.
It's Top Rank's fault, because what was Top Rank supposed to do? Hold him at gunpoint, knife point, make him sign the contract under duress? Is that what they were supposed to do? That you're putting this on them?
Ridiculous.
Top Rank wasn't paying Shakur Stevenson a contract minimum of $3 million per fight to watch him fail.
They don't benefit from that.
Not trying to paint them out to be saints. We all got our hands dirty in one way, shape, or form. But I don't think they were trying to sabotage a guy they're paying $3 million per fight.
For what?
Just means they're pouring their own money down the drain. And why would they want to do that?
Make it make sense.
So the story is that Shakur Stevenson may be in attendance tomorrow for Jaron Boots Ennis' Matchroom debut. He's going to talk to Eddie. Eddie's going to talk to him. Jaron Ennis was asked, what would he tell Shakur Stevenson about signing with Matchroom? Eddie does great things. He treats his fighters right. You're going to have the proper homecoming, everything. He does the talking outside the ring. All you have to do is the talking inside of it. I don't do talking too much. I'm on the quiet side. Eddie's a machine. That's what I need because I don't talk too much.
Saw an interview yesterday where Eddie Hearn talked about maybe making Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. The problem with that scenario is that William Zepeda is not his fighter. Even though he fights on the DAZN platform, he fights under the Golden Boy Promotions banner, not the Matchroom banner. Can you assure Shakur Stevenson that fight?
Assure secure?
Oscar De La Hoya said he had a great meeting with Shakur Stevenson's representatives.
That William Zepeda will only fight Shakur if Shakur is signed to Golden Boy Promotions.
He's leveraging the fight for a new signee.
A reigning champion. We all know that Golden Boy Promotions could use the bodies. They could use another champion in their roster, in their stable, that they're not just going to make that fight all willy-nilly without some kind of a commitment from Shakur. Is this an obstacle? Is this an obstruction? In a manner of speaking, it is. If this fight hasn't happened already, I don't make any bones about it. It's because of Oscar.
Now, that doesn't mean I think William is scared. That doesn't mean I don't like William's chances. I actually do like William's chances, irrespective of the politics.
You think William Zepeda could beat Shakur Stevenson?
I think it's possible, yes. I've seen enough volume punchers, enough pressure fighters come up against enough finesse guys that Williams stands a chance.
Especially if Golden Boy Promotions are the ones promoting it. Shakur Stevenson himself, reacting to Oscar's comments, said, Oscar just put himself into the mix too. Gonna be an interesting next couple of weeks. Big fights on the way by any means necessary.
The skinny.
I think most Shakur Stevenson supporters would advise him to sign to Eddie. Don't sign to Oscar. That Eddie will work harder to make you a big name, to make you a star, like he works for his other fighters. But Eddie doesn't have the bodies. Eddie doesn't have the opponent options. At least in this instant, Oscar has one. Just one.
But that's more than Eddie's got.
At 135, that is. At 135. Now, at 140, Matchroom and Eddie Hearn have a lot more to offer, but I don't get the sense that Shakur is about to go up there. So I'm not really sure what Shakur is going to do.
You're going to make a long-term commitment to Golden Boy Promotions for little more than just the Williams-Zepeda fight?
Does that make sense? I've already seen Oscar accused of dragging his feet, holding up the fight. Why are you doing this?
You're protecting Williams.
Where I don't think he needs to. I don't think he does. Williams-Zepeda stands a good enough chance that you can put him in this fight. Moreover, if he were to lose, the Mexican fans are not obsessed with unbeaten records the same way the Americans are.
If they were, Canelo Alvarez wouldn't be where he is.
But there is a little bit more to it than just that. I mean, what is Shakur Stevenson looking to make from that fight that Golden Boy Promotions would have to kick out? What does he want? $3 million? In excess of $3 million? With no commitment from him to them. What is that fight going to cost Golden Boy Promotions if they were to go ahead and they were to do it? That's what Oscar's likely got in mind.
What's this going to cost me?
That I don't even got a commitment from this guy. This is not Williams-Zepeda's only path to an alphabet title, if that's what you're thinking. That, well, Shakur, he is a champion, but so is Dennis Berencic. And you ain't gotta pay Dennis like you have to pay Shakur Stevenson. Dennis Berencic, I don't think, is gonna cost you an arm and a leg. At minimum, I think the cheaper alternative for Golden Boy Promotions to put William in a title fight would have to be Dennis Berencic, whereas with Shakur,
you're gonna have to put that on pay-per-view. You might.
This is why Oscar De La Hoya is leveraging the fight itself, for a new signing. That he'll give you the fight if you make a commitment to Golden Boy. Now, some people don't like that.
This accents the gravity of Shakur's situation. You're not about to get a fight with Isaac Cruz.
Or Gervonta Davis, or Frank Martin, or Vasily Lomachenko. You may not get Dennis Berencic. He's over there on the Top Rank side of things, and you don't want to be with Top Rank no more.
Williams with Golden Boy. Golden Boy wants a commitment from you.
But wait a minute, if Williams with Golden Boy and Dennis is with Top Rank, then how would William force a fight with Dennis?
He's a number one contender with all four sanctioning bodies, that's how.
The point is that Shakur, even though he's a champion, he doesn't have that much leverage.
You're not Williams' only option for a title fight.
So if Oscar is now leveraging the fight against the commitment from you, you might have to do it.
I don't even know if that's the best move.
But what are your bargaining chips? What have you got?